I want to talk to you today about no more excuses. It's easy to come up with a reason why we can't accomplish a dream, why we can't be happy, why we can't overcome a problem. Excuses are a dime a dozen. We think, I've got an excuse to be sour. Traffic was bad. My boss was rude. A coworker left me out. I've got an excuse to be offended. These people hurt me. They didn't keep their word. They betrayed me. Or I've got an excuse to settle where I am. I had a bad childhood. I lost a loved one, went through a breakup. Well, as long as you're making excuses, you will justify staying where you are. Excuses give us permission to settle for less than God's best. And you can find an excuse about anything. When my nephew Matthew was about 4 years old, he was out walking through the woods with my father down this trail. And they came upon this big granddaddy long-legged spider on the ground. Matt was about to stomp it with his shoe. My father said, "Matt, don't do that. We're out here where he lives. He didn't do anything wrong. Let's leave him alone." Matt contemplated it for a little while. He wasn't fully convinced, but he finally turned and walked off. He got about 15 steps away. He turned around, ran back, and smashed that spider as hard as he could with his foot. My dad said, "Matt, why'd you do that?" He looked up and said, "Granddaddy, the devil made me do it." It's easy to find an excuse. I can't lose this weight. My metabolism is too slow. One man said, "My metabolism is not slow, it's in a coma." I can't break this addiction. Everybody in my family has it. It's in my genes. It's been passed down to me. Yes, it may be in your genes, but the good news is you can turn off those genes. You have the power to overcome it, but the only way it's going to happen is if you get rid of the excuses. As long as you're blaming the past, blaming a neighbor, blaming the traffic, the weather, then you're going to get stuck. I'm asking you to throw out the excuses. It may be a valid excuse. It wasn't fair. You went through a disappointment, a sickness, a betrayal, but you have to draw the line in the sand and say, I refuse to live my life with a chip on my shoulder, angry, upset, with no passion. If you'll get rid of the excuses, God will be your vindicator. God will pay you back for the unfair things. This is your year to step up to a new level, to see God's favor in a new way. Now have this attitude, no more excuses. No excuses to be unhappy. This day is a gift from God. I'm going to enjoy it in spite of what's going on. No excuses to settle for mediocrity, give up on my dreams. I'm pursuing my goals, overcoming obstacles, breaking these bad habits. Or how about no excuses to go around feeling inferior? I know who I am, a child of the Most High God. Well, Joel, I don't think I could accomplish my goals. I'm not that talented. I don't really have the connections. I didn't get what my friends got. They have the looks, the personality, the good breaks. Here's the key. If you didn't get it, then you don't need it. You have exactly what you need. If you needed what they had, God would have given it to you. Now quit comparing yourself and start running your own race. You are anointed to be you. Nobody can beat you at being you. You are fully loaded, totally equipped, uniquely designed for the race that's been laid out for you. Now get rid of those excuses. I'm too tall, too short, too old, wrong nationality. You have been fearfully and wonderfully made. Step up to who you were created to be. When my father went to be with the Lord, I knew I was supposed to step up and pastor the church. But all these excuses flooded my mind. I don't have the training. I've never ministered before. My personality is too laid back. My voice is not strong enough. If I would have held on to those excuses, I wouldn't be standing here today. Anytime God is about to take you to a new level, there will be excuses you have to first get rid of. Before you see promotion, you have to get rid of that excuse, I'm not qualified. I'm not that talented. I can't do that. Before you break the addiction, get rid of the excuse, I've had it too long. I'm not disciplined enough. before you meet the person of your dreams. You have to get rid of the excuse, I'm not that attractive. I don't have a good personality. Friends, God wants to do something new in your life. He wants to take you to a new level of your destiny. Are you allowing excuses to hold you back? When I stepped up and started ministering, I would write out all my sermons by hand. I would have 20 pages of notes scribbled here and there all over the desk. On Saturday, I would try to put them all together and hope that somehow it made sense. And a couple of months in, Victoria came and said, Joel, you're wasting so much time writing this all out by hand. You need to get a computer and start typing it. That way you can cut and paste, move it around, and be so much easier. Well, I had taken typing in high school, but I hadn't typed in 20 years. And I reached into my excuse bag and I pulled a couple out. I said, Victoria, I can't do that. I don't know how to type. I was saying, in effect, I'm limited. I'm not up to par. I can't learn anything new. She looked at me and said, Joel, you are 36 years old. You can do anything you put your mind to. We're going to get a computer and you're going to start typing out these messages. She didn't ask me, she told me. All I could say was, yes, ma'am. But sometimes you need someone to speak the truth in love to you. Maybe you're coasting like I was, thinking that you can't step up. You've reached your limits. No, you have gifts and talents on the inside that you've not tapped into. I'm telling you, like Victoria told me, no ifs, ands, or buts. It's time to lose the excuse bag, step up to a new level, start learning something new, start training for that next program, start taking on more responsibility. Or how about start writing that book? Start writing those songs. Start developing that business plan. You have potential lying dormant on the inside right now. It's seeds of greatness. The enemy would love to use excuses to keep it from ever coming out. You got to stir up what God put on the inside. Quit telling yourself what you can't do, how you don't have the discipline, the training, the education. You have everything you need. You are well able. God has already put it in you. Now, I started typing my messages on the computer, and it was like night and day difference. A couple of weeks, it all came back. I remembered how to type. Saved me hours every week. Since then, I've typed 7 books, hundreds of messages. And I'm so glad I had that idea. But you've heard that saying, you can't teach an old dog